All right, welcome back in. It's the Zach Gelb Show right here on CBS Sports Radio. We inch closer and closer to the end of the month for the NFL Draft in Dallas. So let's talk to someone who's looking to find a home in the National Football League. That's the former Richmond quarterback, the Senior Bowl MVP, and that's Kyle Lauletta, who's kind enough to join us right now on the show. Kyle, appreciate a few minutes. Thanks for the time. How are you?
Yeah, of course. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Zach.
Kyle, your stock has quickly improved over the last few months. It all started with the Senior Bowl, you winning the MVP, and then your performance in the Combine and Pro Day. Just recap those three experiences for me.
Yeah, well, I think the Senior Bowl was obviously the first one and was such a huge opportunity for me. Just the fact that I got invited was awesome, and for a while there, I didn't know if I was. Big thank you. I've been saying it, huge thank you. Got to give Phil Savage, the director, a lot of credit. And that whole experience was great for me. I think that was the first chance you get to meet everybody. Meet a lot of the other seniors across the country, and then you get coached by NFL coaches. So that was awesome, getting to learn from Bill O'Brien, and him having coached a guy like Tom Brady and running a really cool offensive system. I really enjoyed doing that, and I think throughout the week the practices went well. I thought I proved that I belong, but really for me it was huge going out there in the game and putting it all together and throwing a few touchdown passes. So I think that more so than anything has been the one single event that's really risen my stock, if you will. And then the Combine was great. A lot of the same things that happened at the Senior Bowl happened at the Combine, and put in a decent performance with the testing, and I thought I threw the ball okay. It wasn't as good as I would have liked to, but cleaned a lot of that up at Pro Day. We had a lot of scouts out there, and it was a cold and windy day on Pro Day, but I thought I threw the ball around well and threw the ball accurately and showed off that I can throw the ball not only from the pocket but get out on the run and make some throws on the move as well. So all in all, it's been a pretty good experience for me.
Obviously, the diligent work that you put into these three past experiences of the Senior Bowl, the Combine, and the Pro Day. How do you balance being proud of your performances in those three and also just staying focused, knowing there's still some work to do before the draft?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I've had to work for everything my whole career ever since I started playing. So, first and foremost, you got to stay focused and you got to keep working out. You got to stay ahead of the game and keep improving. This is a time where we've come out of college, and I feel like I can honestly say that each year I've played the quarterback position, I've gotten better, and that's huge moving forward. I need to continue to improve, and anybody, any prospect, I hope they all realize that regardless of where you get taken, once you get to a team, you kind of got to hit the reset button and get back to work. These are professionals, and this is the best league in the world. So, in order to make it, in order to be successful, in which, obviously my goal is to be very successful, you're going to continue to have to work and improve and adapt and be the player that you were in college, just at the next level. So I can't wait for all that to happen.
There's some people that have never seen you take a snap in college football. Speak to that person for a second. Describe who Kyle Lauletta, the quarterback, and also the leader, the person that you are.
Yeah, first and foremost, I think you'd see a guy who's commanding his team, feels comfortable making checks and just having calling out the plays and just really has a great command of his team. And my game, in essence, I think starts with accuracy, being able to put the ball in the money and anticipate throwing windows. And I think you'll see me getting out of the pocket, making some athletic plays. I think some of my best plays in my college career happened from, making a couple guys miss and buying some time in the pocket, but also keeping my eyes downfield. So, I think that's my game in essence. And I can't wait to apply all that stuff to the next level.
Talking to NFL quarterback draft prospect and Kyle Lauletta right now on CBS Sports Radio. Kyle, I know football is in your family's bloodline. Just how'd you fall in love with the game of football?
Well, man, I've been playing ever since I was a little kid. We were actually just watching some home videos the other day and watching myself run around at 4 years old playing flag football, and you could tell how much I enjoyed that, and it's just been a huge part of my life. But I think obviously I played other sports growing up, but there's just something about football that those other sports don't have. I think it's the greatest team sport, and I love the fact that 11 guys have to be working together and they have to be on the same page, and just the the team aspect of football is second to none. So I think it's a sport that I just gravitated to, and I've always loved since I was a little kid. So, I'm very fortunate that hopefully I'll be able to fulfill my dream and play in the NFL like I've wanted to since I first started playing when I was 4 years old. So it's pretty surreal coming to this moment.
A lot of people that grow up playing football, they always have that dream of going to the NFL. But for you, when did that become a reality? When did you think there was a realistic chance that you could be an NFL quarterback one day?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the answer would probably be somewhere, probably my second year starting. My second year as a starting quarterback in 2016. The first game of the season we played was against Virginia. And we went up to Virginia and had a really, really commanding victory. Just a full team victory. I mean, offense, defense, special teams, we really dominated, and a big win for our program and big win for my career. But to get all that national recognition and, hey, man, we just beat an ACC opponent, and you looked efficient. I just felt comfortable. I felt like, man, this is something I can do. And right then and there, I really thought, hey, this is going to catch the eye of some scouts, and the rest is history. Here I am.
And you also had some injury problems in college. You tore your ACL late in that 2016 season. Always unfortunate when you tear your ACL, but especially later in the season because you would think you would not be ready for the next season, but you actually were. Just take me through that recovery process, and did you at all doubt yourself when it comes to the NFL dream when you tore your ACL?
No, I mean, I never once doubted myself with the injury. I think it was obviously just so disappointing for a guy. My first year starting, I made it to the final four teams in the country, and the next year we ended the regular season with the same record. I went down in the last game, but I really thought we could have won that game, had I not gotten injured. And I just saw, man, I just saw the vision. I wanted to win that, go deep and win a national championship, and that was kind of the hardest part. But recovering was easy. I had a great support around me, and just unbelievable help at Richmond. But I came back, with 4.5, 5 months. It felt better than ever. So I haven't had a problem with my knee, and I'm very blessed and very thankful that my injury, the recovery went so well. But that was never a doubt of mine that I would come back stronger. And if anything, that really took me off of a lot of guys' radar. But I was able to come out and put in a strong performance in the first game in 2017, and prove to people that my knee injury was not going to be an issue moving forward.
Talking to former Richmond quarterback, NFL draft prospect Kyle Lauletta right now on the Zach Gelb Show on CBS Sports Radio. Kyle, in the history of the National Football League, we've seen a lot of quarterbacks come from smaller schools and have success in the NFL. Phil Simms, Tony Romo, Ben Roethlisberger, Rich Gannon, Joe Flacco, just to name a few. But more recently, we've got to see Carson Wentz and Jimmy G come from the smaller schools. How inspiring is it to see Wentz and Jimmy G and their roads in the National Football League?
It's awesome. I mean, that's there's been a lot of guys from the FCS who have been successful, and for whatever reason, I think when people come out of high school, for different reasons, whether you come from a small school, or you maybe weren't as big and you grew or something, but everybody has a different story, but to realize that, hey, no matter where you go to school, if you do what you're supposed to do, and if you're a good enough player to play in the NFL, it's really neat, knowing that the NFL will find you. And those are two unbelievable players, Garoppolo and Wentz. And they're good young players, and they'll be in this league, a long time playing at a high level. So, two great players, but also two great men, and I've heard nothing but about both. People more so than players. But I know they'll be successful, and I'm certainly rooting for them.
When it comes to this NFL draft with the quarterback position, everyone's talking about the Big Five and the fascination with Jackson, Mayfield, Allen, Rosen, and Darnold. And maybe there's going to be a quarterback like yourself outside the Big Five that ends up having the most successful career. But when you look at those five, just give me your thoughts on those five quarterbacks.
I mean, I think they're all good. They're all good players. I got a chance to meet, these guys throughout the process, and I think they're all going to be successful. They're all different styles, which is really crazy. That doesn't really happen a lot, but I think it all just comes down to getting with a good team and being a good fit. But I think all these players, can play at a really high level, and to me, this is one of the best. So But I definitely think all those guys, play differently, but I really do believe that all those guys will be successful at the next level.
Do you think you're the best quarterback in this draft, Kyle?
Well, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm very confident in my abilities, and I believe in myself. But I don't know. I don't really worry about those other guys. It's kind of a waste of my time and energy to worry about other players and how I stack up. In my opinion, all I can do is perform to the best of my ability, and and I think I have enough traits. I think I have the NFL quality. So. I believe in my abilities, but I'm not going to compare myself to the other guys. But I know that I stack up with all those guys, and I can say that confidently.
Fair enough. Talking to Kyle Lauletta right now on CBS Sports Radio. Growing up as a kid, give me a quarterback or two that you really enjoyed growing up watching in the National Football League.
Well, I'd say Peyton Manning was really the guy that I kind of idolized and always loved and watched growing up. I think when I got a little bit older, I started to watch a little bit more Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's actually from my hometown, and I love his style of play. So that's another guy. And then obviously, the older I got, closer to college, I just admired Tom Brady and his success. He's the greatest of all time, and to think that he's at 40 years old, still playing at the level that he is absolutely amazing to me. So it's another guy I've watched in college and really admired the way he works.
I know you don't pay attention to the mock drafts, but some that I've seen have you going actually to the Patriots. What would that be like to get to learn from TB12 for a few years in the NFL?
It'd be awesome. It'd be a dream come true. I think every quarterback would tell you that, to get to learn from a guy like that and be in a system that's been so successful. I think I'd fit right in, and that'd be a great spot to be in.
Kyle, with the draft being 2 weekends away and your dream almost becoming a reality, just take me through the emotions that you're feeling right now with all the hard work that you put into it with the draft right around the corner.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's quite hit me yet. I know it will at some point, but just like you said, you think back of all the tough times you went through, and all the people who doubted you, and all the work that's had to be put into this point. It's pretty amazing to think about, and it'll definitely be a special moment. I'm sure I'll be emotional, and I can't wait to share that with my family.
What are your plans for draft weekend? What do you plan to do that weekend as you get ready to hear your name called?
I'll just be home. I'll just be home with my family, and just sitting on my couch, hanging out, and I'll have my fingers crossed, hoping that I get picked. So we'll see.
He's Kyle Lauletta. Kyle, great stuff. We appreciate it. We look forward to tracking your career in the NFL, and best of luck coming up the next few weeks.
Thanks a lot, Zach. All the best.